That's a bonus.
Oh, it's huge. Because like I always watch like the radio guys have like these like super comfortable chairs. Because for years when we would record shows, we were in these like shitty studio chairs, whatever chairs the studio have.
Yeah.
And those things are just like, I mean, oh my God, my posture has just been like in so much pain from doing this. So every time we come to a house and there's a couch, it's like a treat.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good, man.
Are we ready?
Does it smell like cinnamon?
It does. It smells really nice.
It smells like Christmas.
Like a little Christmas tree.
It's also the nicest smelling house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Girls can love that.
Far better than Cookbook.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't expect that.
There's a general bad aroma pretty much whenever Cookbook's in a room.
It smells like a bodega.
Yeah. Cookbook himself smells like a bodega.
He actually smells
like an entire store in one human being.
Oh,
all right. Okay. Should we start the show though?
Yes, sir.
Right,
yeah, man.
Don't flush the toilet.
You are now tuned in to the Crappy Awesome Podcast.
Welcome to another Smellomatic Vision.
Oh, Smellomatic?
That was weird. My headphone all of a sudden popped out right in the middle. It distracted me. I was going to say Smellovision-matic.
Oh, gotcha.
Smellomatic, Aromavision episode of the Crappy Awesome Podcast. We're your host, the Diego Brown Project. I am Mr. Arash, even though nobody calls me Mr. And with me is KILLcRey, even though we'll just call him Chris.
There you go.
We're, of course, brought to you by Platform Collection. It's a beautiful, amazing service that does not smell like Cookbook. It's got all kinds of amazing content there.
A little bit, right?
It smells like Cookbook a little
residue.
bit. It's Cookbook.
He's
rubbing it on his butt.
He's there.
Okay. Make sure you go over to platformcollection.com and check out all the content that's on there. There's music videos and essays and interviews and reviews and all kinds of content to keep you busy and potentially fired from your job because you won't be paying attention to what you should be doing.
Yes.
While you're there, check out our sibling podcasts. There is Culture Sessions, hosted by Melathion Archive and produced by Spock Beats.
Spock Beats.
The 2Mex Hologram Podcast and the 2Mex Hologram Radio Show. Both of those are over at platformcollection.com. How are they different? He plays music on the radio show.
He plays music on his podcast as well.
Huh.
If he's really hungover, he'll only play music on his podcast.
He rants for a long time on his podcast.
Yeah.
But not on the radio.
On the radio show, you hear maybe a shout out or two, and he does ads.
Okay. It's more music based.
It's more music based.
Yeah. The podcast is a window into his haunting mind.
It's his haunting.
Does he interview
disturbing
people?
mind?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I bet you that's
yeah.
great.
But even when he does,
hilarious.
but even when he doesn't have interviews, though, you just want to listen to him for like 2 hours.
Some of his best episodes are just him by himself telling stories.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't run out of steam. I don't think I've ever seen a human being be able to talk in the way that he does.
No.
Yeah. You come close.
Thank you.
But not quite as
No, not.
Proof of Life Radio, hosted by KILLcRey and Kali.
Yeah.
Live on the Road with 60 East. This other podcast that I'm not going to mention. Really, though?
Wait a minute. Pigeon John's on here. Maybe Pigeon John can make a
plea?
Yeah, because we've had other people make a plea.
Okay. All right. AWOL1 is supposed to have the broadcast podcast that we've been teasing for like 2 years. He just won't do it.
He hasn't done it yet. So we've asked everyone who knows him to please ask him to release that goodness into the world.
Will do.
Yeah.
I'll send him a text.
There it is.
Release your podcast.
Yes, immediately.
There was I don't remember his name. It was an artist that was opening for Run the Jewels, and like he didn't have an album. It was just like singles and mixtape stuff.
Oh, and someone yelled at him to release, right?
Well, that was the running joke. Like every tour stop they make, people yell at and scream out from the crowd, "Release the fucking album!" He's like, all right, I got you.
Yeah, we need that for AWOL.
We need that for AWOL.
That's good.
Start a hashtag or something. Really though, with Cookbook.
Yeah.
Orchestrated cookie boogie. Smelly cookie. He smells like he's cooking. Orchestrated with Noah James and Lisa J. Their status escalates with Kali. The Ghetto Blaster podcast, hosted by Ricochet and Jen Johnson.
Yes.
And the as of yet to be announced Battle World podcast.
Yeah.
What's that? What's battle? Is
Can't tell you.
he's battling?
You can't know.
Coming soon.
Podcast.
Some big names from the Battle World are coming over to the network.
That's fun.
Starting
I
a
like that.
podcast. Yeah, it's part of the world that we don't dip into it too much, and I want it represented.
Yeah.
That's fresh because I only see them in action.
Yeah, I'd like to
Never
hear where it comes from.
critiquing because they're like boxers.
Yeah.
We check the fights and
I think it's gonna be a lot like that.
We need an ESPN Sports Night for
MC,
that world. Yeah.
ESP MC.
ESPMC.
I give up.
I like
ESPMCM.
There it is.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Platform Collection. That is one word, all spelled out. And on Twitter at Platform Collect with no shun.
No shun.
It's almost like a song.
No shun.
Without the no shun.
Without the notion.
Shout out to Tor Project for working to bring us a more private web browsing experience. To learn more about Tor Project, visit torproject.org. Tor spelled T-O-R, by the way. Check that out.
Not Thor Project.
Not
Some
Thor.
people thought it was Thor.
I thought it was Thor.
Yeah, it's
For
Thor.
a long time, I thought our sponsors were named Thor. It's like we were
Torbot
You guys
for
are
your
major, yo.
sponsored. We're sponsored by
You guys messing around with
Thor.
gods,
Gods.
Vikings.
Can't lose.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, unrelated to any of everything that I just mentioned, Burner Podcast. That's over at burnerpodcast.com and covers the Burning Man community and is hosted by yours truly. So check that out at burnerpodcast.com.
Wow.
Tell them about Stitcher and iTunes and all that.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spreaker, go over to crappyawesome.com. You can hear every episode all the way to episode 0. Or you can go over to Platform Collection and start somewhere around 67. Where me and Arash like to say things got good.
Yeah. Before they got weird.
Up until then, it was a little weird.
Yeah. It was just
Kinda
bad.
Just bouncing around in the podcast world.
It's terrible.
It's hard to be one of the first hip hop podcasts.
Let me tell you something.
Wow.
These headphones that I have on right now
Are immaculate, huh?
Yeah.
How they feel.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm massaging my own head
I almost
with
feel
my
like
voice.
you shouldn't have those.
You guys should shout out those
Yeah.
headphones.
Yeah.
They're Sony, what are they? 20?
So you want to sponsor us?
No,
One love.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for supporting. The numbers keep growing because of you. Keep rating on any of those platforms. That always helps us. It's just a nice thing for you to do
Yeah.
for all this free content that you get.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We even let you complain about it and don't say anything. Don't call your mom.
Yeah.
We don't say anything. We don't tell on you at work.
I do sometimes.
Okay. Well, Rosh does.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Tattle on you regularly.
5 years, what are you complaining about? You know what I mean? Free stuff. Do that for us. And follow everything at Mr. Arash or everything at KILLcRey. Reach out to us. Have requests for guests. And we know we keep getting that request to do the history of the show type podcast.
The history of Crappy Awesome?
Yeah, but we'll get around to it. We're getting around.
Okay.
We have a few people booked. So once we're done with this next crop of bookings, then we'll get in on that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have someone. Maybe we'll have Cookbook come in and do
And
the
Interview you guys.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah, except that he doesn't like you as much as he likes me.
He'll get more
Are you
shine.
looking in the mirror?
He'll get more shine.
Yeah.
That's true, and he doesn't need any more.
Yeah. Oh, word? Okay.
Yeah, because he's too shining.
I'll talk to Cookbook.
Yeah.
And AWOL. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay. Please handle that for us.
Word.
By the way,
Even balance.
the voice you're hearing by now, you know, is Pigeon John is on the show, man.
Hey, what's up,
Thank you so
guys?
much, dude.
Pleasure.
All eyes on me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Revving it up, getting started, time to press play. Plugging it in, level 10 to the earth shake. The weather wild and I'm free, no control any singing the songs about you. We know the rule though, I'm running the game and can't lose. Oh, never doubt it, I'm all about it. I'm taking the cup, shaking them, waking them up, that's what I do. Quick on the draw, taking a sip from the jar till you don't know who you are. Right in my car, laying the tip on the bar, then ripping it all apart. Pushing the beat, sipping it straight from the vine. You know we serving the heat, bon appetit, look up, cause all eyes on me. 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 You keep on going till you break it down. You keep on going till you break it down. Oh, yeah. All eyes on me.
I will tell you this interesting story about you. So we've had you on our list of people that we wanted to interview almost from the beginning of the show, right? And as you know, like in the hip hop world, it's you got to kind of find your paths to everybody because everybody's doing stuff, everybody's touring, and lo and behold, our producer Eddie finally got Cookbook in a corner.
Yeah.
And told him, you need to get Pigeon John on the show for us.
Nobody puts Cookbook in the corner.
Yeah, but except Eddie.
Eddie put Cookbook in the corner.
He put Cookbook in the corner. And Cookbook hooked it up. So, dude, honestly, shout out to Cookbook for making it happen.
Heck yeah.
I've always liked the fact that you've been, from the very jump, like one of these artists who likes to think out of the box. You had the early years at like The Good Life where people would talk about how you seem to go in there and this is something I wanted, because I've seen old footage and stuff of you going to The Good Life, and at that time you were just being who you were in this very, because The Good Life, I mean, in Alex Tumex's own words, was a confrontational place. Like there was it could get confrontational there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the footage I seen would be people like watching you going, like trying to understand like what's happening here, and then you would grab them and then people would cheer. And did you ever have times where, like, take us back to those early days at The Good Life, were you afraid? Was there ever any fear?
It was like good afraid, like being on top of if you skate and you have a big drop in.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at how high you're going to get.
Yeah.
But just the fear, the healthy fear of standing on the edge.
Yeah.
And then dropping in is
Do you remember the first time you went up? Oh,
yeah. The first time I heard about it, and this was back in the day in LA where there wasn't any open mics and stuff.
Yeah.
So word got around, and in school, and my friend, our acquaintance, invited me. And before then, really, hip hop was really the radio or mixtapes are very personal between just like 5 friends in real life. We didn't go out to clubs or anything. So
there was no epicenter of the hip hop world. Yeah,
our rooms and just skating and stuff. So I heard this place. I went there, and I was blown away. I was day one. I loved it, and the reason why is because I knew that everyone's better than me. Like I instantly knew because I spit my hot 16. Yeah, and it didn't get dissed, but I didn't make a ripple, and I realized, oh shoot. I've been hanging out with my friends. Like, there's no.
So the bar was set. Yeah.
And I just went there and learned and signed up when I could and stuff. But always very nervous. Yeah. But even the same nervousness that I have in, the last show I did in Long Beach. Yeah. The same thing. So
it's kind of
still
weird.
There. It never leaves.
Wow.
It's really weird.
And dude, I mean, it's interesting because you're one of those dudes who, people can argue that you take a lot of risks in your music. I tend to think that it's more, it seems like you're not afraid of being like the authentic you, and that's, I guess that is risky in hip hop sometimes, there's always going to be, you're always going to open yourself to judgment, people telling you how you should sound or that your sound isn't going to work.
The beautiful thing about The Good Life, that it was confrontational, but the main thing was like everybody was trying to be original.
Yeah.
And everyone forced you by the rules of like no cussing and then no biting.
Yeah.
Like you could not sound like Jay-Z. You couldn't sound like Kendrick Lamar. You couldn't sound like anyone. So it forced everyone to dig in.
Yeah.
Not in a deep way. It just happened nicely because everyone was playing together, so you rub off on each other.
Yeah.
If Cookbook was here, he would stop the whole podcast on the rub-off situation. So what? Say that one more time. But it was dope. So that's why, you had the 2 mix.
Yeah.
You had the volume 10.
Yeah.
You had Jurassic 5. No one sounds alike.
Right.
Not one MC sounds alike. You have all these MCs and really kids that everyone just encouraged each other to, during the early 90s and 90s, was just be original first. Before you even make a good song, you have to come with it. Everything was like, how are you going to bust this way?
Yeah.
I think we all found it just by looking around. And then it took like a year and a half, and then everyone had their own vibe. Yeah. They would bring their songs, and it was cool.
I mean, at that point, are you already, like, mentally, are you like, this is what I'm going to do? Or were you like, this is just something for fun, like this takes up my time? And
it was I was working at bookstores and stuff, so it was like in my mind, but it was a complete dream. But I was doing it just for the love of it. Yeah. And being young and not having you have a gang of times.
Yeah.
It just really took over the whole life, and it was weekly. Yeah. So every Thursday you'd go up there, and then if you didn't blow up or you had a good night, you have another week to do another song. Yeah. So it was very interactive. Yeah. And you saw the homies with the song, 2 weeks ago. That song was dope. What'd you do? Oh, I'm just trying. And never would they do another song. No repeats. Yeah. Just one song and then goodbye. What's going on? And then another song and goodbye. And you have to try to see if their idea can float. And that's it. That was the reason. And then anything after that was business and music. Yeah. But first was just like, can we all zone out right quick? Yeah. Just, for what? Ain't no girls or drugs around? Yeah. What are you guys doing? Yeah. We're just like almost like a youth group in a way, because even though it was in a hot arena, it was only 8 to 10, and it was really ran by a woman, B Hall. Yeah. She was like our hip hop mom. And anytime you use the N word or cussing or the B word, you're done. Mic's cut, no matter how hard you are. Yeah. So then it forces you to get. They did that to us. They really did. Yeah. B Hall really did that. Just by opening like what was Trader Joe's back then, pretty much. Her own health food stuff. Right. So
which was attached to it, right?
It was inside. Yeah. It was like the size of 2 of these rooms in a health store. So stuff that like little shots of energy. People do it. I didn't know what they were doing, but she was doing it like before it went to West Hollywood. Yeah. So it was very like a blessed arena. Yeah. And I wish that for all the MCs now to have like open mics where they get to get nervous. And, right. There might be some girls around there.
And go work it out.
Just like, because you never know until you bust. Yeah. There's another cookbook. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. Everything's dope. You practice, but you never know. It's kind of like baseball. You never know until you're on the mound, you see the pitcher, then you know the deal. Like, okay. Yeah. And no one else can see that interaction except you and that. It's pretty crazy.
Do you remember as like the influx of like the industry started to pay attention a little bit more, and then people started to get like, oh, this person could get a deal, or this person. Yeah. Did you feel like, was there? Because I've talked to a few people who were there at that same time, and were you guys aware of what you were doing? Like, were you aware that this was going to be not just a footnote in West Coast? It was like a chapter in West Coast hip hop.
No.
You had no idea.
Because we were just living off a week.
Yeah.
And then for years at a time, for 4 years.
Wow.
And then we look up. And the notion of a deal was like you hear it from rap records. You don't know any A&R.
Yeah.
So you're listening to a Tribe, and that's how far the industry is from the good line.
Yeah.
But we really didn't know until people started the naturally gifted MCs started getting plucked. Corrupt was the first one on the Chronic.
Yeah.
And when we were like, what's going on? You're on the Chronic? He's in a Navigator with a bottle of Hennessy at the Good Life. He didn't even want to leave.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, and he wasn't, there's no girls around. Once again, it's all just about the music.
Yeah.
And he came there after the record dropped, almost out of I looked, because we all, what's going on? Dang, this car's, he's almost like slightly bored and almost wishing that I wish I can just bust. Right
go
there,
back
just
to when it was pure.
Yeah. Or the industry had not touched it. And then the freshest story was when J5, everyone, I think we're looking for deals, but they pressed up their first single and brought it to the Good Life. And just that notion alone changed everybody's, it's like independent hip hop.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wait, we couldn't get a deal, so we pressed it up. Do you want one? That whole notion, all it took was one person, and then everyone was like,
I could do
boxes, CDs.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing this. And it was very interactive, and we'd openly bounce off each other.
Yeah.
There was no like dumb competition where it's like clicky.
Yeah.
And none of that. It was just like,
it was everybody was trying to raise the bar.
Yeah, that's it. And then go home.
Yeah.
Why did the Good Life end?
I think it ran its natural course. Everyone was young, and then the no cussing thing got a little old, and people, wanted to stretch out and do their own thing. And then that's when AC started Project Blowed, a little later on a different night and stuff. And that's what pretty kind of ended the Good Life, because people had grown out of it. Freestyle Fellowship got a major deal. Far Side, Will I Am.
I've heard people describe it like Good Life, when the Good Life faded away, it also took with it like the innocence of it all. Because I've heard people put in people commented, Tumex being one of them, that after the Good Life, people had tasted, at least by recognition through other people, like what the industry was.
Oh yeah.
And now there was there was purpose now.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Everybody could get on. We could get on.
Or there's a reason why you go to the open mic.
Yeah.
And that's you're already skipping the first step. Is first you gotta have fun.
Yeah.
See if you like it.
Yeah.
Because this ain't nothing but just mics and some emptiness.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of floss as far as the song.
Right.
But yeah, it's a trip.
So
it's a trip.
Okay, so you go. Let's flash forward. Well, actually, really quick
it was a little like a timing situation too, because being that it was in the 90s, the industry was very young.
Yeah.
So when you have even a slightly younger, like 2-3 years, that's a whole generation.
Absolutely.
So they come in and they don't see just MCs without the deals. They see MCs and 1/4 have the deals.
Yeah.
So automatically you have a choice. Do I kick it with these fools in the alley, or do I look what they're doing? Then you're kind of like, a little ahead.
And where were you? Where did you feel you fell into that world?
Man, I went there. I wanted to bring a bunch of my friends there, but a lot of times it didn't work out. So a lot of times I was alone. So for like the first 4 years, I felt that I found my voice, and I felt that the scene was, it's like going to the club too long, the same one that you kind of helped start on accident.
Yeah.
You know exactly how that feels.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's new people and new flossy, and then the older people, they have the benefit of basic bullying.
Yeah.
Who's on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not, fool. Are you from? Oh yeah, bagging. We got people coming up here, and then you have the clicking going on, and that's when I kind of naturally left. Yeah. Because I was focusing on getting the idea, like, I got to do an album.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's the next step.
Yeah.
So it's like working on the record and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd poke in my head at Project Blowed here and there and stuff.
Did you cool. Now with before we move on, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a brother and a little sister.
Yeah, older. Your brother's older?
Yeah.
Okay, and then your both parents?
One, my mom.
Mom, well, what does your mom do?
She works in the office. She typed up what do you call that? We type up doctor's notes. I forget the name.
Prescriptions?
Yeah.
A pharmacist.
Not pharmacist. No. When you type up the notes for their files.
Okay.
Typing.
Yeah. Was she creative?
No. She wasn't into. She loved music, but she didn't do music and stuff. But music was all around.
Where did the creative part for you come?
I think my grandma, it was like a traditional, like I saw my family singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was personal. It was personal. It was like hearing a Tribe Called Quest first record.
Yeah.
Alone, and then deciding alone I'm going to make some music alone for someone that I might never meet, that they might hear it. So it was very like, because I didn't go out that much, it was very much just me like, you know what, I really want to do it.
Why didn't you go out that much? What kind of kid were you?
I was a skater, crew of 5 dudes, and then going to church and stuff. So that was kind of like my whole life. It was like a bunch of people, but it was like more, kid-like and shit.
Yeah. Would you looking back, would you say you were like a good kid? Would your mom say like, yeah, he didn't give me too many problems?
Yeah, I would say pretty much.
Yeah.
But only because I didn't really have the chance to. I was not like a good-hearted person.
Yeah.
Just no one put it in front of me and said, put that in your nose.
Yeah.
And then put this, because I probably would have done it. Who knows? I think it was just circumstance, dude, just the way life goes, and even discovering the good life, and that's where I met Cookbook. It was like, UMC, and then years later connecting to create
for LA Symphony. Yeah.
It's just like those little things that, keep us, connected and stuff.
What is it? What was your, because that is such a big chapter. What was your view? Because we've had Cookbook on the show and he talked about it too. What was your view of, if you had to sum it up, like this is what LA Symphony was and this is what happened to LA Symphony?
Oh man.
What would you say? I
would say it came to a time where we were all in groups. Everyone was in miniature groups and stuff. And I was coming from Brainwash Projects and like the group had just broken up. So I was like, I'm not sure if I want to do this. Is already too serious.
Yeah.
What's going on right now, fool? We're just, it got a little serious. So I was a little bit reluctant in going to group because then we're all connected. And that means everyone represents each other and stuff.
Right.
But I gave that up and off the hypeness of Cook and Flynn and everyone there, I was just like, this is the new chapter.
Yeah.
And we were all pretty much just friends first.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing because you're just like hanging out, and then someone starts spinning, and then you record some freestyles. And think of names of crews. And this is innocent because we didn't have any deals on the table.
Yeah, it's just an organic thing happening.
It was just, just Flynn. Yeah. Flynn just kind of pushing and hustling, and everybody's gift and vibe added to it. It just was really cool to be a part of. During that time. And then you guys, what happened? Kind of caught on. I think that we had the opportunity of a lifetime, in '99, to have a nice deal. And the first deal we had was a nice one. And we got to choose the producers. We had a great time putting the record together. It was a dream. And then the age-old story that we heard about on the rap hip-hop records was the label fell under and got bought out. So our record was owned by a bigger major, but they moved like dinosaurs. So we were stuck for 2 years. Yeah. And it was just at the coming of age time of us meeting our soon-to-be wives. Dating. See, it used to be
Life was happening. Yeah.
Then you're in the late 20s, and it's like, fool, I need to eat. I love you. Yeah. But we are not going down together. Okay?
Yeah. But that wasn't the agreement.
Yeah. But it was hard because we were all in it together. But then the daily, how are we going to pay rent and stuff like that? We can't live together forever. Right. And it was real tough because coming in, it was magical. It was dope. And it affected us too early. It was only our second album. To get really like thwarted. Yeah. And then we're like, you know what? Let's go back to the indie. Because it's untrustworthy. Yeah. As far as our experience and stuff.
I can't get a hold of it. Something better. I wrote every bit of it in a letter. Your love is so hard to get. I want a part of it. Come on and let me in. Let's get it set up. That's what I like. That's what I need. Just what I want. So give it to me. 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 I'm stuck on your love again. Spin the bottle. I spent every penny in. Hit the lotto. Your heart is a runaway. I can't catch a break. You know I love the chase. So hit the throttle. That's what I like. That's what I need. Just what I want. So give it to me. 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 That's what I like.
And so at the time that like say LA Symphony was dissolving, did you have in mind, all right, this is where I'm going to go and this is my next thing, or were you kind of floating? Were you like, I don't know what's going to happen?
I had a big desire to finally do Dating Your Sister.
Yeah.
Solo record.
Yeah.
Because I was in groups all my life, and back in the day, my favorite groups were always groups. It was never a solo record.
Yeah.
Even Rakim wasn't solo. There was no solo.
Right.
So I was always in a band. To think of me as a solo artist, not even Q-Tip is solo.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. Not even Ad Rock is solo.
Yeah.
Who am I? Karis One? BDP. He's not solo.
Yeah.
So I that's why my first record is called Clueless, because Brainwash had broken up, and that's when I was floating around that time. But that's the time I met, reconnected with Cookbook.
Yeah.
And started doing stuff, and then I guess it was, I just focused on doing the solo stuff. But it was tough because it was departing from LA Symphony, and I love the way like Living Legends kind of rock, because they would record all together and then support their indie releases so everyone can eat. Because it's hard to eat on one loaf of bread.
Like the Wu-Tang.
But yeah, it was unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But it was a blessing to just get that far.
Did you feel going into your solo career, did you feel you were bringing LA Symphony fans with you, or were you feeling like, man, I'm starting from scratch again?
During that time, because the record hadn't come out, and we were touring, but we didn't even know what was out there. Yeah. So it was mostly like on artistic, like this is my time to make a stamp. Funny thing, on my second record, I already considered myself old as far as rap years. I used to look at people like when I'm young, like, dude, that dude's 22.
Yeah.
25. So I don't want to listen to old man rap. I was already like, dang, well, I gotta do it. You know? But the pleasure was when the record came out, and then got the opportunity to tour with the Living Legends. So that part was dope. But I always missed, like, when good stuff was around. I'd be in a cool hotel or bomb show. Who's seeing that? Me. It's just like The Good Life. No matter what, you can't take it home. None of your homeboys are going to see this. So it kind of keeps it like a nice, healthy detachment. Can't really take, it's weird. But it took me a while, and then, but I think artistically, all the greats, I just wanted to add my sound to what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and you were obviously you did that, and there's times where we've talked, I've talked with other artists, and you talk about like influences that you can actually see, like tangible influences, and your influence. I mean, and I wouldn't put it out there, but I can think of 4 or 5 artists off the top of my head where I know there's an influence from Pigeon John. I can see it. I could just the way, the vibe, the feel, like, oh, he's probably, and sure enough, a lot of the times I have talked to them and they're like, oh yeah, I used to listen to a lot of Pigeon John. But now you're at a place where people, there's a population that sees you as like an elder statesman in hip hop. There's also a younger generation that comes out and discovers your music for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, this new guy," you know, because I've heard that too. Like, "Oh, yeah, hey, have you heard Pigeon John?" I've literally had people tell me, "Hey, have you heard Pigeon John?" As if it was like somebody, like just a young kid coming out.
Oh man,
and that's an interesting thing that, the internet has done. You know what I mean? The internet has done that because you have records out there that continuously get introduced to people's lives, and wherever they catch you is that's where you're new to them. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
But at the same time, you're also like the epitome of like the hardcore indie artist. Like you've stuck to your guns after that. After leaving there, like, I'm going to stay indie. I want to experiment with my music. I want to get producers that nobody might want to get, but I want them because they're my favorite producers.
Right.
And was there ever times, and still to this day, are there ever times where you look at it and go like, I could probably take an easier route? Because we've talked about it on this show many times, because the majority of people that come on are indie. And we've always wondered, I wonder this now about myself, and, you know, Arash, the same thing. Is there a part of like the indie mind that likes the suffering a little bit? Like they like to, like, I like the grind. I like that.
I think I only can view it from me. I think not only the Good Life, there were original MCs, but the MCs that we loved, everybody was different. You had the EPMDs, you had the Tribe, you had the Gangstar. You can count up to 20 and none of them will sound alike. So that generation was just like, as long as it's your voice, that's number one. And 2, if you get successful, do it. But the rule was like, you gotta put it down. You have to, and just see how you naturally glow. And just kind of
that's all that
go
matters.
from there. And a lot of times it was by default where I had to accept the way that I made my music when I was in a situation where it's like, okay, shoot for a goal, be this way, this is what they want, give them what they want. So you go down and I'll write the song, seriously trying to make it like it is. It turns out like a Technicolor coat. I'm like, what is... Well, okay. In my mind, this is 50 Cent. This is how it sounds. You know, so it was almost uncontrollable, the bend toward making sure that my sound was there or whatever I was hearing. But it kind of keeps me. The chase is the thing I think that ruins a lot. In the industry of music or anything that's fun, really. And I think that learning how not to chase that, I have to the longer I'm in the industry, you have more time to think about those things. But the best times and the true answer is how the Good Life, you just do your music and
and worry about the rest later.
Close your eyes, pretend that you're rapping to a star in the universe. Naked and alone and terrified. And then go home and see if you get lucky. That's all that it is. It's just like, just throw it down and then see what that is first before you start carving it and stuff. You know, so it's I think that I'm just been doing it this long that I can even get caught up. Like I'm working on the next record soon to try to put it out next year. And I just released the last record.
Right,
so this
Good
time
Sinner, right? Is out right now?
That's the last one. So it's the same deal. Every album is just to like, you stop it. Don't try. Don't, as soon as you start trying, then, you know, just something happens to it. So it's just like the fight to cancel, almost like meditation. Almost like,
do you think people know?
Until you are floating,
Yeah.
press record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Do you
it
think
doesn't
people-
have to be that deep. But if it's a trying thing because of worry, this,
Yeah, or I need to
Oh,
sound like this way,
I'm gonna
or I
check
need
my
to use these
3
things.
in the morning, wake up. I'm gonna check my phone. Just it's a good day. I feel good.
Yeah.
Instagram, you see thousands of people popping.
Yeah.
Hawaii, Amsterdam. Okay, I think I'm gonna make a beat so it can kind of get into your head.
Yeah.
So much outside.
Yeah.
And the true thing is, the blessing thing is that people who do, when I listen to music, I love when the artists, you can tell, like, when they're at their weirdest.
Mhm.
As soon as they start doing this, it's like your best friend trying to smell good.
Yeah, yeah.
Calm down, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just chill out,
It's too
dog. It's not
extra.
working.
Yeah.
How do you catch that though? Like, what is the system to catch yourself trying? Because I feel like most people don't realize they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's
Like, do you know when when you're trying? Like, you have to take a
Yeah.
step back afterwards and look at it, right? But
It's
while
a-
you're doing it,
what it happens when I record alone.
Uh-huh.
It happens. That's when it's tricky.
right?
Where you have to and then it's kind of like, it's not old school where there's someone like, okay, you got Rick Rubin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And you're just all alone. So it's like, okay, now, make sure that you just, you have to almost,
Yeah. You don't have a
Check it.
director.
yeah, you don't have to, you're self-directing. But I think the first takes of recording
Mhm.
is usually the best
The
one.
purest, right?
So I have to cut myself, even if it's not, I'm learning.
Right.
I'm just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that it's, just let go.
Yeah.
Because I keep on trying to, just let it go.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest thing is to just take off the effects.
Yeah.
Like, let your voice shine.
Oh.
And you hate it, but then some person,
Yeah.
that's the glory.
Yeah. They're like, that's
Like,
what I've been waiting for.
It's a horrible picture, you think.
Yeah.
And then a person like, dude, that song right there, homie.
Ah.
It's like, dude, thank you. Even if
Yeah.
it's just one, because one, it's real personal and it's a cool thing to, be able to have anyone listen to.
Yeah.
Just for a minute outside of Rite Aid.
I mean, all
If they like it, I'm good.
all of your music though is personal. Like
Oh, man.
most of it's all whether you're being funny or talking about relationships or talking about your stressors.
Yeah.
It's all. I mean, does it? Because I mean, you're in a relationship. Is it ever get tough? Like, man, my whole life is out here. Like, I've
Yeah.
literally poured my life out on all these records. People know everything about me.
Man, I would say I do that with without knowing sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd be telling the future sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a trip to do it and then just let it go. It's a lot easier when I work with producers.
Yeah.
Let's say you guys were producing a track.
Yeah.
It's a whole different language. Now I'm just almost, open. It's a sharing. Oh, this way, that. Oh, I like that. It's real natural for me both ways, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier to kind of work with people. That's the LA Symphony,
Right.
honesty all the way. Because you got Joey the Jerk recording your verse.
Yeah.
How you gonna try to?
Yeah,
huh?
he's gonna tell you.
John, calm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
So it's
a
cool.
silly example, but I've noticed like a general correlation
Uh-huh.
when I write status updates, like on Facebook or Twitter, whatever. I realize there have been situations, I haven't had any recently, but I've had that situations where I look back on it, I'm like, oh, I was totally trying to get likes out of that one. That was totally attention. And I've noticed the correlation over the years of like when I don't give a fuck and I'm just like writing, and I write some sappy ass shit, as you know. It will get a reaction. Like it'll get like 100 likes and share and quote and all this.
Yeah.
But then like if I really try to compose something and I look back on it and think like, oh, that one was me trying a little hard to like
Yeah.
sound profound, and that one won't get the responses. And
Yeah.
it's really amusing. People can somehow on some sub like, but the raw ones do. And there is like there is something that people can pick up on. And I don't know what it is. It's like
It's
a
weird,
sixth sense.
man.
It's some sort of a. It's a primal instinct, perhaps, to be able to catch on to, because maybe a time.
At one point, it was about survival.
Yeah.
Like I had to know this guy was bullshitting me
Yeah.
because if not, he could hit me with a spike or something and kill me. you know?
And kill my family.
Yeah.
And do all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts that like we still have that instinct. And yet, sometimes it completely goes the other direction, as we've seen in the previous election.
Oh yeah.
You know?
True indeed.
Sometimes people just shut it down completely.
Yeah.
That's something
That's scary.
I wonder though if that's also something that both of you guys as performers, like on stage, that comes across too. You know, like
Oh yeah,
people can read when
Dude.
you're insecure, when
Bro.
you're not feeling great there.
You can lose a crowd like that,
bro.
easy. Yeah.
I always say through the years of touring is like the crowd is your mirror.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
matter
that's a really
what
good way to
you're
put it.
thinking
That's profound.
or trying to hide, they're going to smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring it to the
mirror. So if you
surface.
do something, they're going to do it or whatever. They're
Yeah.
following you, but that's a humbling thing because you got grown adults looking at another grown adult. Seriously.
Yeah.
You're gonna bless me with some art.
Yeah.
Bless me with the art, and they're open as hell.
Yeah.
You know, so it's real. But that's where the rubber meets the road. The shows you can't lie.
Yeah.
You cannot lie with. You can't.
Yeah, there's no backseat.
It's a real physical thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real.
I saw a stand-up
there.
comedian
It's cool.
recently who was like really train wrecking, and he kept like stopping and saying, "Oh no, wait, I was gonna do that joke later."
Oh man.
He actually said that.
ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
Yeah.
oh, that's rough.
I actually just recently heard that Dave Chappelle is on an underground tour right now
Ooh.
where he's purposely bombing.
Mm.
Like he'll start the show off and purposely try to dig himself into such a hole that the fans are like almost against him,
Wow.
and then rebuild it up.
Huh.
Like he's testing himself. Like I wonder if I can lose them and get them back
Wow.
in one show. And that's always, to me, that kind of stuff is always like so brave. Like,
Yeah.
and I look at it, like I look at like a lot of your music. I've gotten to see you perform maybe 2 or 3 times over the last 2 years. And you definitely seem like you're at home up there, you know? And it was interesting to hear that you say you still get nervous.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel when you're on stage, have you ever had those moments where you're like, wow, I just lost everybody?
Yeah, for sure.
What
And
do you do in a
This
situation
is what it is, homeboy.
Uh-huh.
Ego, pride.
Yeah.
It's like I'm an MC.
Yeah.
MCs are the most ridiculous of hip hop because they're the guys that stare in the mirror.
Yeah, all the
The
time.
guys look, hey, yeah. DJs don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't need to. Coolest. Graffiti artists.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
break dancers are killing.
Yeah.
MCs. You know, for me, I think when I take myself too serious is when I lose them.
Yeah.
Because one, it's like turning on the lights in the club.
Yeah.
You just made it serious, dog.
Yeah.
And the serious about this, did you hear this soliloquy that I just dropped?
Yeah.
Are you did you catch that hook?
I'm
It's deep.
important.
I'm important. That third verse.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
hear that? Then you lost it. It's like pride. It's
Yeah.
but as long as you don't hold that, and it's kind of like watching somebody when they think no one's looking.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's ultimate. As soon as you see it, you want to. That fool is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
trust life now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Just because it can be good or bad, it doesn't matter as long as he is not self-aware.
Yeah.
Self-aware. It's a trickiness. That's why MCs need DJs sometimes.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
We always looking back and stuff like we don't know.
Yeah. They have to go like,
It's cool, fool.
That's true.
MCs,
just wrap
man.
your raps,
I
man.
have seen
Stop looking at me, fool.
listeners did
Looking at the
obviously
mixer.
listeners didn't see this, but like Chris just did like the thumbs up. I've seen multiple shows where
I
an
was just
MC
at a show where that happened.
where MC looks back at the DJ like, is this okay? Are we doing all right? And DJ gives the thumbs up, and it's like you see this like relief go over the
Wrap
entire...
your raps, fool. You're here to wrap your raps. Just wrap your raps.
Oh
my God.
God bless the DJ.
Dude,
That's the DJ, man.
being somebody that is, has put their creative self out there in the public so often, are there times that, like, what do you do to get yourself in the creative, like, mind state? Like, are there times where you're just like, man, it's not coming. It's not coming to me no matter what I do.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I can't bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what, it might be a good thing.
Sorry, Cook.
I go so far as to that's when the whole like you're putting on airs.
Yeah.
As long as it's going, and then it feels a little uncomfortable, and then I try to do something else, whether it's make a beat or go to the next song.
Yeah.
But keeping it writing as long as I'm 16.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking about a tweet, you
just practicing the craft.
Yeah. It's just that, and just keeping in the zone. Don't worry. Don't start editing while writing.
Yeah.
You got to write it first, fool.
Yeah.
Editing while writing, mixing while. Shut up. Yeah. Putting echoes. I'm on a deep on this left side. Shut up. You know? So it's just like recording it dry.
Yeah.
It's like looking at yourself and just until you don't see yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's hearing the music and following the music and just, and then understanding that this is just one piece of sand in a millions of beaches no one will ever step on.
Yeah.
And be proud of your job.
Yeah.
And then you're a kid and you're just basically doing a song like a model car.
Yeah.
This is just one model car. And thank God.
And it's just pure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think I look at the example of the last Tribe record. It breathed new life in me.
Yeah.
Older, all my old friends is like, fool, I'm ready to start this rap game. It felt good.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that they pulled it off without being tainted.
Yeah.
18 years without doing anything and come back without any chip on the shoulder.
Right.
But at the same time, charging you. With no judgment.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Like, put people on blast, but holding your hand?
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's like there's examples of that, and it's just reminding you of, just remain. And it's not like kid-like. I don't know, as an adult, it's not good to say, you got to get in my kid zone. You know what I'm saying? But almost like your self zone, wherever that is. And everyone knows it. It's just making
your true
sure
self.
that your true self. When fools get drunk at the bar and the song comes on, just stay right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like that self that like a lot of people, all of us at some point try to hide from other people because you're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of what if they don't like my voice? What if they don't like this? And as long as you're cueing in on that, that's where you stay.
Yeah.
Like you just stay focused on those things.
There's like the extreme other end of it though that we've seen plenty as well, which is like, well, if they don't like my shit, fuck them then. They don't know about good music.
Yeah.
They don't know hip hop.
Yeah.
So like you can have the extremes and yet somehow it seems like the healthy place is somewhere in the middle where you're dancing in the middle of both of them at the same time.
Just doing it. The challenge or the battle is just between you and what the next song.
Yeah.
That's the main battle.
Yeah.
No one's going to compare you to Outkast.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Stop thinking that someone's going to say, yo, it's kind of like radio.
You're not Outkast.
It's kind of as dope as radio. I think it's kind of dope as radio. Ever. So just like it's easy to be grounded in a crew.
Yeah.
It's hard to get lost.
Yeah.
Because you got your homeboys bagging on you.
Right.
It
keeps you honest.
So it's like, shut up. No.
Yeah.
And then when you rap, it's glorious because you're not even thinking about the show until you're on stage, and then you look at Jay Beats and say, fool, we was just talking about Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And then you bust your verse, and then that's the joy. We get off like, dude, that's bombness. And it's healthy to collab. That's why I collab so much. Now it's like I'm almost in a moving group.
Yeah. It's constantly switching up. Right.
Same kind of flow.
Yeah.
So I kind of.
Do you because there has been, at least I've noticed over the years, in fact, I don't think it can really be argued. There is something about an MC who also produces. Like they look at it a little different. Like I've talked to my friends who are like amazing MCs, freestylers, but they don't know anything technically about the beats or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way they approach music is very different. Like it's very different. Like, because they're normally waiting on somebody else's emotions to add to my song. But you do both. You know what I mean? Like you've worked with producers and then you've controlled a lot of what you put out. Like what do you prefer at this point in your career?
I think doing alone is more risky because you never know what you're hearing it's on the plate. It might be cool for a lot of other people. So it's easier for me nowadays to hear a piece of music and kind of add on top of that.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, and a lot of times I rap. I'm going to stop using buzz. I rap a lot different over other people's beats.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll go on my own song, and it's almost like it can be like it's like when I'll perform in the studio slightly different if there's an engineer there than if I'm alone, because it's It's hard to know, like, because you're alone. You can try your best, but till you play it in front of people that don't know you, you get that cold stab in your heart that says, go back to the drawing. Or you might be thinking that, but they might be like, no.
They're like,
so it's a lot easier nowadays to work with different people.
So that they can add into the mix.
And I enjoy that. A lot of times I never stop making my own music because I go and do a collab with a couple of friends, and then their technique as producers and editors on the computer, I'm just staring at it because I do it as well. And then I just go home and like, dude.
And then try to apply it.
In the production or...
that's interesting.
It's kind of cool.
You wake up late to school and you don't want to go. You ask your mom please, but she still says no. You miss 2 classes and no homework, but your teacher teaches class like you're some kind of jerk. You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight. Your pops caught you smoking and he said no way. That hypocrite smokes 2 packs a day. Man, living at home is such a drag. Now your mom threw away your best porno mag. Bust it. You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right tonight. Don't step out of this house if that's the clothes you're gonna wear. I'll kick you out of my home if you don't cut that hair. Your mom busted in and said, what's that noise? Oh, mom, you're just jealous, it's the Beastie Boys.
You referenced multiple times so far in the conversation about, like, you know, back then when you were a younger guy and, like, you know, you're obviously an established man with a family and, you know, like a normal person home, which we don't have too often on this show. What are your observations about what's happening in hip hop in regards to age?
Age, oh man, I might be a little too close to realize it. I think we all are a little bit because we never had we never had the Rolling Stones.
Right.
We never had the Beatles.
We're still waiting for it.
And I think the dudes will be the Tribes. And the
for sure.
Those bands that are quiet now. But they didn't go away.
You know, Pharrell is 43.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either till today. I was like, oh, it's already happening.
It's already happening. I think it's less and less, and like you said, the internet you don't see. It can be like a faceless music, where it's just your ears are telling you what it is. That's a real cool blessing. But I would have to assume that what's happening in high school we don't know about.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because it's always
we've had some younger artists on,
but I wouldn't know. I think that I'm just going to take it as it comes. But it's like Star Trek, kind of like Frontier Unknown, but it's seeming a little natural. You know, when I look at an AC Alone, he can do, you know, a classic, nice album anytime, and just off words alone and flow alone, he's timeless.
It's relevant.
You know what I mean? So, but as a consumer, I don't know. Okay? I think I would assume that it's a big leap, but it's interesting.
I could tell you.
I think it is an age thing. I think it might be like a younger, as far as like mainstream hip hop or newer groups. Understandably,
isn't mainstream anything younger though in general?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the mainstream does the youth, because you know what,
right.
Worshiping youth is like the most basic ass thing that you can do as a human being.
Yeah,
because it's fleeting.
Yeah, and like, and I was like, women will compliment each other by saying like, "Oh, you look so young," and that's like
that's a compliment.
Yeah, it's so fucking basic though.
Yeah,
like this obsession with youth and like looking back at high school as those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Whereas like interesting creative people don't necessarily.
Yeah, I can tell you. Like definitely we've been able, because we've sat with some really, really young artists. I think the youngest person we've ever had on was like 14.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then what was Eddie Berthel? Yeah, Eddie Berthel was like 70s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
but he wasn't a rapper though.
But he's an artist.
Yeah.
And he's in a world where the relevance, like people, I've heard people go like, "Oh, photography, it's a young man's game, blah, blah, blah." Yeah. That's already happened there. Yeah. Huh. But they've been around a long time. Yeah. So they've been able to prove that it's not necessarily anybody's game. It's,
right.
It's but I can tell you this, what we've noticed in hip hop, and this is something that I've talked to Tumex about a lot of times. In fact, he's kind of a shining example of this, that like what you were talking about, for lack of a better description, like the kid thinking and keeping you young. I think as long as you have that and you're creating, to circle all the way back to what we started with, like the most original thing, I don't think you have an age. And that's coming from what I've heard from younger artists, because they're rediscovering, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I think the LA Underground and the beginnings of the LA Underground it's a perfect time for a renaissance right now, because the younger MCs that come out are very aware. Yeah, they're aware of everybody that came. They've done their work. So when they discover you, they may be discovering an artist that's been around for a long time, but to them it's new. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's something to remember.
Yeah, I think it is. And like I told Alex, like I was like, look, man, you're at a point right now where people want one of two things. They either want the hottest thing or the authentic article. And you fall into that category of the authentic article. Like it's not arguable. It's not arguable that Pigeon John he's been here. He's been doing this. You can't argue that. And that's the only thing that people really want. You know what I mean? Like they want the authentic, like, how do I get that? You know what I mean? Because what a 16-year-old is rapping, whether they're doing like trap music or like boom bap hip hop, that perspective is still from a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? So if you want bigger topics, where do you go? And in hip hop for a long time, you couldn't go anywhere. Now you can. Now you can go like, no, I want to go listen to this album that's very adult. Like this talks about my adult life. And we're constantly debating with people who criticize the younger generation. And my argument is always, they're not making music for you. They're making music for other things. It would be weird if you were like, that's my shit. No, that'd be weird.
It's so bizarre. It's like going into the butcher shop.
First time.
Going into a butcher shop and being pissed off that they don't have good salads. I don't get that. That is really confusing.
But it's the first time it's happening in hip hop because we're young.
First serious time. Back in the days, like a generation would be 4 years.
Right.
Artistically. 93 to 97.
No, we have
full. A lot of good stuff. Like can you change person? In 3 years. So I'd have hip hop and just basically any music that the youth are doing. Is where we started, probably doing what we love. Perfect time to start. And this is the first time growing old, and we can relax and support this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I guess another contributing factor to that also is that culturally, it definitely feels like it used to be that your early 20s were kind of considered like your youth and it's done.
Right, which is not anymore.
I mean, like 30s.
Late 30s to 40s is now like the new...
People are waiting to get married, like a lot of times not having kids, like we're living longer.
Starting new ventures.
That whole age limit thing in general in society and culture, at least in Western culture.
I think it's a Western thing. When I went over to Europe, Europe, I realized just in the people that came, every show is all ages.
Yeah.
Babies at the bar.
Yeah.
All the way to like a 60-year-old couple or a 50-year-old couple who they're into jazz.
Yeah.
They'll come out just to come out. They'll come out to hear some music.
Yeah.
And it's new American. I think that when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is an American thing.
Yeah.
Worldwide, it's just like what you do. It's all in the product you create.
Right,
That's Asian's thing.
Yeah, it's why overseas, like stars overseas can really, they're like releasing records in their 60s, in their 70s, like new records, you know what I mean? And it's, but I definitely, the reason it is a Western thing is for one reason, because shiny new sells products.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but
capitalism at work.
But as an adult, right? Like as an adult, if there's an adult who's kind of knows who they are already, they're not really trying to buy the newest thing.
Yeah.
Where do they listen to music? And that's what it is.
Oh my God!
So hip hop can have that now. You know what I mean?
Right there.
There's multiple lanes.
Exactly.
You can on Power 106, or you can pick and choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can choose.
You could go to SoundCloud and only listen to SoundCloud music if you want.
You just said right now, Chris, though, that made me realize like that's part of the problem also with like an American culture where a lot of times older Americans will not even explore music because they think simply exploring music is a young man's
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they feel excluded.
Yeah.
Like, who's talking to me? I want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if say you're listening to an artist that came out and they're like 17 and they're talking about relationships as a 17-year-old, it's hard for you as a 30-something-year-old, 40-something-year-old to go, I relate to that. Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, we didn't even date like you date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's even changed.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even get a hand job.
But dude, I've always said this, to me, the best hip hop is a conversation for every type of person.
Right.
Like that's what art should be. There should literally be an art for every emotion. And that doesn't stop with age. Like, why would I want you to shut up now that you have all this knowledge?
Yeah.
Like you get all this knowledge and I'm like, okay, we don't want to hear that no more. Let's hear like people who have no knowledge yet. You know what I mean? That it doesn't make sense. And that's only a Western thing, like I said, because of products.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even that's changing. You see movies, casting is getting older. You know, like the leading ladies nowadays, like the young leading ladies are not teenagers. They're like late 20s, early 30s.
Huh. That took some work, dude. Remember, I remember this very clearly when the Thomas Crown Affair came out. That was with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo.
Rene Russo was like it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal that she was older and like had nude scenes and was considered like a sexy leading lady. Like that was a big deal back then.
Oh man.
Like now it's becoming a little more common.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're going to see like our Rolling Stones in the form of like Tribe Called Quest, because I think what it was early on, at least I know it for me, when I was really young and into hip hop, I was like, oh man, what's an old rapper even gonna look? What's that even gonna look like?
Yeah.
And now we've seen like, Jay-Z, like Q-Tip, like, you could still. Yeah.
It is possible to rap about grown-up shit.
Yeah, and what it is, and here's the thing, for us to think that wasn't going to happen was just naive, because we had jazz before us, and the best jazz musicians were like the oldest guys in the room, because they had literally jammed so many times that they've become so proficient at what they do.
I like that.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what's happening in hip hop right now. Absolutely. I can tell you, like I said, the conversations that I have with the younger people, they don't care at all. They just want to know if it's dope. You know what I mean? Like, they literally don't care. Like, because they're not even asking the question of how old you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you got asked that?
Press play.
I got asked it on a date.
I don't think that counts.
Let me ask you, if you could talk to a younger version of yourself, and go back right now and say, this is always one of my favorite questions. Because it always gives me a lot of knowledge. Like, what is the one piece of advice that you would give you about your general journey in life? And like, and it has to be something that you would, like, young you would understand. Like, I know, because a lot of times, like, people will say, well, I'd go back and tell my younger self to not worry about things so much. And, you know, that's not going to work. But like, what is a piece of advice that like younger you would have heard and said, okay, I get that. I'm going to do that differently.
Oh man. I would say, man, younger me, dude, it's not gonna sound good, but I would say, be honest with your friends. You're gonna have to do what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first 5 years was, am I gonna do this alone or with my best friend?
Yeah.
And there's that best friend who wants to do music, and we're all doing this together.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird. Like,
Yeah.
It was very connected. I would say cut it soon.
Yeah.
And like move to New York City.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Oh, wow.
At 19.
Wow.
And just go and finish college.
Yeah.
I would have said, because I stopped in the middle because of music.
Yeah.
Because I was paying for it myself and I didn't know what to.
Why go to New York City?
I did hip hop, some young hip hop stuff. Because all up until I was 18, 19 is when I went to New York for the first time. All of hip hop, you're just hearing about this.
Yeah.
You know,
The Mecca.
It's like the Linden Boulevard. Queensbridge.
Well,
It's like they're, but I don't know. Just to get myself out of it and get to the goods faster.
Right.
All the relationships and crushes and,
Right.
hey, where are you going? Shut the, go. I wanted to like get out and then realize how easy it was.
Yeah.
You can flip this borough in 6 months.
Yeah.
See, that resonates with me right now.
Just fast, just hungry, like when you're 19.
Yeah.
Just grabbing the mic.
You're
just
durable.
off just the butt.
Yeah.
Get off the mic. I'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Well, because I imagine all
that. Like, go for it sooner.
Yeah.
But very like college girlfriends. Does she like? Fool, shut up.
Yeah.
Well, all that stuff I would say, just
too
do
much.
music and do it now.
Yeah.
And as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Do it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Because I imagine the reason that a lot of times people don't go, like even like same thing, LA, like film industry, LA, music, because you're like, well, what is going to make me stand out over there? There's a gazillion people out there that are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Lots of doper people.
You get better. The first time I went to Brooklyn, once again, the same year I went to the Good Life.
Yeah.
I was still representing the West Coast in my mind. No one was. I was representing House of Pain, like Cypress on the subway. I was all into it. Going to the Bronx for a Yankee game. But I rapped, right? And these kids, I instantly realized everybody is dope. Yeah. Oh, you bust? That was a first. Is you're not supposed to. Yeah. It's about to get heated, and they don't rap. Yeah. They don't even rap, homeboy. Yeah. And they're better than you. It's just in the culture, and I took that home like, fool. I'm glad I went there because it just made me. I need to step up. Sweat on it. Yeah. Like go as soon as you can and get around better people. Yeah. That scare the shit out of you. That is a great answer. Get strong. Yeah. Stop jacking off with the homies and going to Taco Bell. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a weird Friday night.
Yeah. I mean, that's
sometimes we not.
Boy, you had crazy weekends. Yeah.
So I'd say the music is get it, because there was tons of opportunity where I went slow because I thought I was young. Yeah. And I see
like I have forever.
And plus I'm in love with the girl that, that takes up 3 years, dude.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. And then what you ticket here for? Just because Sheila don't like you? Yeah. You're an idiot. Go get out of here. Yeah. So it's a trip, but I'm thankful for the process. It was real slow. Yeah. LA Symphony was like, oh, we're in a crew. Oh, we have a deal. Well, everything was a little more slower and stuff. But looking back, it wasn't so serious, and it's all in your hands. It's when you're young, you get to choose how rich you want to be. You get to literally choose what house. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, or it will happen to you. Right. Yeah. This is a sucky. But
I think that answers a lot what you were talking about, because why go? Why stand out?
Totally.
Because you have no idea where you fall. Yeah. Like you might think like, well, this is my skill level. This is what I can handle. And then you're around a bunch of people who can do that same thing. Yeah. That's the only way to know how good you really are. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have to get in the game. Yeah. And otherwise you're, like you said, you're stuck in your mind or the little group around you who's come to add you to their taste.
Right.
They might not, you know what I mean? Like, whereas somebody who has nothing to lose or gain by critiquing what you have, or they're in competition with you.
Yeah.
You kind of see where you fall. I think that's a great answer.
Well, I guess it's kind of like what a lot of us do is that we become like the seniors in our high school, and we're like popular and know everybody. And then we don't want to graduate because next we're going to have to be freshmen all over again in a much bigger school.
That's probably a good way to live. Every 4 years, get
I
mixed
agree.
in with a new school and learn something, you know. And plus, you know, nowadays you can pick up anything and learn.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's healthy to get up there and learn, because I got to tour with the best.
Yeah.
And I've got to see them from the side. So all I'm doing is just learning.
Yeah.
Oh, this fool's right here. He's been rapping for 1 hour without a piece of sweat.
Yeah.
How's he doing this?
Yeah.
Killing it. And then me, I'm all different styles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm always critiquing and seeing the greats. You just take it back home with you. But yeah, I would say that you got it. Like, as a young kid, and to move out, just get out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because right after 18, that's when that's quicksand.
Yeah.
Either you're going to kick it for 6.
Yeah.
And then reboot at 25, like, hey, mom. You know?
Yeah.
And then get fast, like, oh, shoot, I'm 30. That's kind of what happened to me. I was 25, and I was like, oh, shoot. Now
I got to step on it.
I got to step on it, you know? But yeah, I think it's interesting today's youth. But I'm old and proud of it. But it's a funny thing, like, back then, 22 was full grown. Now it's almost like it might be an ageless thing where it's like you almost have as much time as you want.
I agree.
I'm a 28-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I just want my vibes.
Yeah.
You can live, so it's for me, it was more like I want to get in the mix, because I think we all had it. I think we all can hold ourselves back. When we don't need to at all. It's a complete hoax.
Yeah.
It's a complete hoax.
We just had
they tricked you.
Dude, we just had
You're not going to make it.
We had an awesome conversation with Curtis King right before this. Yeah. He gave us like this really dope advice. He said, anytime you hear that voice of like, just wait, or like, like, don't go to New York. Like, it's too much. What did he say? To
make it high pitched and geeky? Like, you don't go to New York.
Yeah. He's all,
there's gonna be better than you over here.
It's great, right?
I feel it.
Yeah, because he's like, because that's how silly you're being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's literally how silly you're being.
That's
like,
or in the best way, the bombest way, is to go there learning.
Yeah.
Go there with how'd you do that?
Yeah.
If you sit nowadays, if you ask, can I learn something from you? One, it's unusual. And two, it's free and you can do it anytime, and people would give you fruit.
Yeah.
If they only ask.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can go anywhere, you can move. I have young friends now in the band, and I'm like, man, dude, do you know that you can live in Paris right now?
Yeah.
It's $1,500.
I've thought about that.
Backpack.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want, Is there, as long as you're happy and you're chilling. But if you feel like it's a little bit stagnant, then count the shells, count your blessings, and see and grab onto something new and just do it. 'Cause it's just keeping moving, staying learning, and I think that's the best.
That's
keep
so
you alive,
dope, What
don't listen to those whack voices.
Yeah.
Fools, it's never.
They're always lying.
You know.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a show in Tahoe. Everything's sound check and stuff. The vibe is great. There's one guy in the back of the bar with 4 of his friends that in real life.
Yeah.
We would not be homies.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Those are the guys.
Yeah.
Okay. You talk about it, they live. So I'm thinking this while I'm doing bars and hooks. Like, they not moving. Fool.
Yeah, and they're just giving you that look, like
all of here is like full, and I'm still like, oh, energy, bring me that. Stop being so thirsty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times after the show,
like my music.
they don't like my music. I'll just go to the thing, and a lot of times, maybe 50% of the time, that same quiet dude.
Yeah, after, right? Yeah.
Can I get that one?
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Oh, that shit was dope, homie.
That shit was hard, fool. That's that shit I've been talking about since day one. Like, you got, in your mind, you have the hardest dude
Yeah.
saying you're the reason why
Yeah.
live. No,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a funny thing. Plus, in a high school thing like jocks. And
Yeah, yeah.
It's surreal.
Yeah.
But it's good to throw your best shot out so you can realize that wasn't it.
Yeah.
It's the first shot.
Yeah.
Your best shot's probably the 70th throw.
Yeah.
Just get all that book
That's
BS
real
out.
shit, man.
Get it out, release it, say it's your hottest stuff, and or not.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting time. I'm interested in the new hip hop.
Yeah.
Like kids just pushing it on because
Yeah.
it's always new. You know, creating instruments and all that stuff. It's a real healthy zone right
Yeah.
now because it's in the hands of the people.
That's super dope.
We could start a label right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Just like that. And put a single out tonight.
Tonight.
You know
and
what
a
I
video.
mean? It's just real hands-on,
Yeah.
and everyone can do it. And I think it's a healthy thing because everyone can do it. There might not be a lot of finances, but
Yeah.
the people that hold on to the ball the longest, I think, will
That's it.
get that.
That is it.
Kind of because you can get into it, but do you want it? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people might not want
Yeah.
to go on tour.
It's not a sprint.
You know, yeah. It's you know, so it's pretty cool. I'm glad that it's still fresh and young and stuff. But yeah, LA is crazy for that.
I mean, it's super dope.
Generations.
Though. It's dope to hear. I mean, you got another project on the way. What Good Sinner's out right now. Tell people about that project.
Right now. Good Sinner is out. It's a 12-song album.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pop-oriented album. Working with Campfire Guys and LD and Ariano. Ryan Levine.
Yes.
So yeah, that record's out right now. And right now I just turned in a mixtape album that I'm going to put online on my website.
Nice.
Called Rap Record.
Yeah.
That's a record I was doing while doing Good Sinner.
Yeah.
Kind of like A and B in it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Doing like bigger songs with the producer.
Yeah.
And I would come home and make these smaller rap songs.
That's dope.
So this you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is this hey, let me just kick this.
Yeah,
out.
that's the stage. That's your room.
That's the stage. It's like, you know, growing and then, you know, all this stuff. So those two projects are coming, rap records coming out, and then just starting to write the next record.
Yeah. And will they get that sometime next year?
Yeah.
Okay. And more visuals coming?
Oh, yeah. A video for That's What I Like is dropping, I think, this year.
Dope.
We shot it in Colorado.
That's really dope. And if you guys are listening to this, go over to Platform Collection right now. And all his links will be there, so you guys can click through, pick up that record, and keep supporting everything Pigeon John does. Dude, hoping that you'll be back on the show soon. When the next project comes out, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, dude. It's definitely been an honor to talk to you.
Pleasure.
And we love to chop it up again.
Word up,
Yeah.
homeboys.
Flush the toilet. Rebel, rebel. She always sleeps in different time zones, even when I don't. Rebel, rebel. Her mind is spinning They tell me I should leave her alone, but I can't let her go. Can't let her go. Wanna talk, but I turn to stone. Oh, I can't let her go. Can't let her go. They tell me I should leave her alone, but I can't let her go. Can't let her go. Wanna talk, but I turn to stone. Oh, I can't let her go. Can't let her go. They tell me I should leave her alone, but I can't let her go. Can't let her go. Wanna talk, but I turn to stone. Oh, I can't let her go. Can't let her go. So she's my rebel.
Brought to you by PlatformCollection.com.